Hey everyone, welcome to Waxing Pixels, a video game podcast hosted on Battle Geek Plus. My name is Josh. I'm the guy who talks first, and with me I have Heather.
Hi.
Ryan.
Hey.
And, hey, where's Frank?
We're missing somebody.
He has a job, and he has to sleep.
What?
What? No.
That's okay. I didn't really have a name pun for him, worked out, so I can understand. But he was with us earlier for filming another segment that we'll have coming out when Ryan gets it put together. But yeah, no Frank this week. So anyway, how you guys doing?
Well, we've been gone for 2 weeks, and a lot happens in 2 weeks.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
It was worth going and having dinner and watching John Wick 2.
Yes, very worth it.
Because, romance and stuff, because Valentine's Day.
It is. You know what? Your Valentine's Day gifts were quite romantic and quite fitting for John Wick 2.
Oh, I was all like, I didn't get you anything. But no, what you got me. Okay.
But I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chocolate gun, the chocolate gold coins, and the stuffed puppy.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
It was stupid and adorable, and I loved it.
Worked out perfectly. So, anywho. So yeah, we did not have a podcast last week, and we kind of forgot to announce that we weren't going to have a podcast.
Well, I announced it on Twitter, but on the day of.
Yeah, so for example, Joe, he popped in being all so, no podcasts? Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. I actually forgot to do my entire closing last week. So, oops. But hey, we're back now. And that leads into, what are you guys playing?
Let's see. I recently got the Platinum Trophy in Resident Evil 7, which is awesome. So I've been playing that game a lot. And I'm still trying to play some of the DLC, but next week we got Horizon Zero Dawn coming.
Yay!
And
it's funny that I'm all excited about getting it. Well, I'm also excited about getting other things as well. But it's crazy because I'm all like, I haven't even finished Tomb Raider yet.
Which you just recently picked that back up.
Yes, and I played it for, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, and I haven't touched it since.
Then why is that?
Because I've been doing, holy shit, I was so busy this weekend. I was basically a bouncer. So I got to check IDs and give wristbands and throw people out physically. I had to physically grab people and toss them out the door.
Now, normally, what do you do when you're catering at events?
I serve.
Yeah,
I'm a server to people who are not, underage and trying to drink and break the rules and destroy property and whatever. And then I worked 2 weddings this weekend. So, woo! Yeah.
I've also been playing Dragon Quest VIII on the 3DS. Also with my tax return, I bought a whole bunch of classic systems. I bought a PlayStation 1 and 2. I bought a top-loading NES with an AV mod and an SNES Mini, so I will be streaming a lot of these on Twitch in the near future.
You've really gotten into this Twitch thing,
yes.
Which is awesome. It makes me sad that I'm not doing it more, but...
I've done a little bit of Twitch recently, on my own channel. Because for some reason, people don't want to watch me play Xenoverse 2 on Battle Geek Plus. They want to watch me play it on Kendamu, even though functionally it's exactly the same. Yeah. Tweet goes out, people go in, they chat things, I play game. But
I'm still currently trying to beat Styx.
And Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but I've been streaming Styx. There's...
Oh, okay, yeah. There is a difference.
And also next week, besides Horizon Zero Dawn, the Nintendo Switch is coming.
Yay!
I actually, I don't work a job where I just get weekends off. I don't do, the normal 9 to 5. I've escaped that life. And...
escaped that life. You entered that life for about 3 or 4 months, and then you escaped it.
Well, I mean, you have... There's the reason why, so much shopping goes on, over the weekend and stuff like that is because most people in life are trapped in the 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Sort of deal. Like you. And I don't even have a college degree, and I managed to make my way into that sort of life, and it was horrible. And mine was more of a 7 to 4, but we never saw each other or anything. But I escaped that.
Yeah, that
life.
was pretty awful.
So I have requested that entire weekend off Plus, I got another day off before even the start of that weekend. So there will be lots of gaming for me.
Well, at least for somebody. I mean, I'm going to be picking up shifts. I already know that I'm working at least 2 days.
Well, that'll give me time to like play Zelda and like and then charge up the Switch and everything like while you're gone. So we're not sitting there fighting over it the whole weekend.
Yeah, I guess.
So because we'll have Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda, and that'll help with like not fighting over.
I guess that just means I'll be sure to not pick up a shift during my weekend, which is in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And then, do nothing but that. And then tell myself, boy, I need to play Tomb Raider and beat it. Boy, I need to stream some sticks. Maybe after this mission.
Right? So, yeah, we'll definitely... We are geared up for some Horizon Zero Dawn and for some Breath of the Wild here at the Josh and Heather residence.
Yep.
Yeah, I might do the midnight launch at our local Best Buy for the Nintendo Switch because I also have March 3rd off, and maybe I'll come over and play some 1-2 Switch with you guys.
I'm so excited to try some of those games.
I really wasn't ever gonna go out of my way to play it, but hey, if you have it, you bring it over.
Yeah,
then, sure, I'm down.
Yeah,
that'll be kind of a fun thing to try out. The another thing that I'm gonna have fun trying out in Street Fighter 2 for Switch, they're going to have a first person mode that's done in the Street Fighter 4 graphics, and it's like Hadouken mode.
Okay.
Firing
so cool.
Hadoukens at different random enemies and stuff. And so that's going to be interesting. It might be a motion thing, and that'd be kind of fun.
Well, you probably have to put your hands all Hadouken-y like.
Yeah, that's what I was implying by the motion.
I wasn't. I wasn't actually looking at you when you were talking about it.
Do the cha-cha and fireballs will fly out.
Cha-cha-cha, Hadouken.
So yeah, we're down for that. Right now, I've played a little bit of Xenoverse 2, played a little bit of Nart Storm 4 Road to Bort, Naruto 4 Road to Boruto. Played a little bit of that, but I haven't really just been hardcore playing anything. I think I've been hardcore playing sleeping and jiu-jitsu class and working. Anywho, let's move on to our first news topic. So, for the past several years, Battle Geek Plus has been going to E3 and covering it, covering different little indie games, bigger games, new hardware, new peripherals. We had a really good working relationship with PDP, some of their products. We showed them off on the Battle Geek Plus Let's Play show that we had. But for the first time in quite a long time, E3 is going to be open to the public and for 15,000 people. And really, I'm not sure what to make of that. $250, you get in for the 3 days. You also get to sit in on panels and stuff like that. It seems just really weird. I'm not really sure. I'm still not really sure what to think. What do you guys what's going through your minds about this?
Well, I did a battle blog on this last week, and I think it's a good thing, but people need to realize, E3 is not like a standard convention like PAX or Anime Expo. You're not going to go to panels there. Most of us who go to E3 are there for business. We go there to cover the games. We go there to make business deals. We talk to developers. It's kind of more in a business setting. We're not there cosplaying as Cloud Strife with our styrofoam buster swords, just swinging it around and hitting people.
And standing in line to get it autographed by, Nomura or something like that.
Yeah, and we're not screaming, internet memes out the top of our lungs in line.
Now,
and people at E3 take showers.
Now, there has been there has been some while we're standing in lines for something, especially Nintendo stuff. I've pulled out, Smash before while standing in a line.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my god, you have Smash? We have Smash. And a bunch of 3DSs come out and, a game gets started. So, there is a little bit of fun there, but it's definitely not PowerCon or Anime Expo or Comic Con or anything like that. It is definitely set up meetings and appointments, and don't be too hungover to go into to go in the next day and, do the stuff that you scheduled on the previous day and whatnot.
Yeah, and also I mentioned in my battle blog too, yeah, you can go to E3 to play games. You totally can, but you're most likely going to be waiting in a lot of lines, so you're probably going to play less than 10 AAA games, but you'll be able to play a lot of cool indie games. Like I remember we discovered Capsule Force there.
Yeah,
which is
Capsule
really
Force.
cool.
We discovered that because it's a nice little indie game.
Yeah, like we all me, Josh, and Frank waited 4 hours for Zelda last year.
That was like the only thing I really waited for.
Yeah.
I was like just really impatient, and like everything else, like me and Heather, like we made an appointment to get into a presentation for Horizon Zero Dawn, which then they revealed in there. It's all like, hey, you want to play some? And it's like, yeah. And
I made that appointment too.
Yeah.
See, now that's the other thing is that, people are so excited about it being available for the public now and, expecting to go in and stand in line and play games. Well, last year, there was a lot of you can't be in this line unless you've set up an appointment.
Yeah.
There was a lot more closed off stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that made
like every year.
And that, I mean, they have that like every year. Yeah. Like you have like
But
rooms that are closed off.
there was a lot of it last year.
There was more of it, and it caused a lot of traffic congestion because like normally, like if you can just walk up to something and like stand in a line and then play it, then you've got people who can just kind of like zip past that line and go to the other thing, and they just have all these TVs set up and stuff like that. And you have a lot more free space to kind of move around to get to what you want to get to. But when everything's like in these, like they've always had this at E3, but they had it more so last year where they had the big rooms set up like in the middle of the floor, like just like the tear down walls, and like they had more of those and less space to move around. So like traffic was just so congested because there was just less stuff you could just walk right up and take part in.
Yeah, but the problem is, now that it's open to the public, a lot of these people are not going to know that you need to have appointments for all this stuff. Like we've been going for a couple of years.
There could be a lot of people who are supremely disappointed in their E3 experience because it's not going to be what they expect.
I think people who are going for their first time will regardless be super hyped about the fact that they went to E3 in the first place.
Fair enough, but I mean, like was said, how many people are going to know they're going to need to set an appointment to be able to get in line for something.
Right. Yeah. The PlayStation Experience app. If you're one of the people who is going to E3 for the first time this year, get the PlayStation Experience app on your phone.
Yeah.
That way, if you want to see anything that's Sony exclusive, you can make an appointment for that the day of or the day before or anything like that. And you will have a spot reserved for you to go in and see a presentation and possibly play a game.
And those appointments go really fast.
So
very, very fast. If you have a slow connection, like you're screwed. It's just not happening.
Like do it way ahead of time. Also, like if there's any people that you really want to see, any companies that you really want to like get in on the presentation of that they don't have an app for it, like day one, as soon as you walk into that hall, go to them. Like last year, we went to Bandai Namco right when the floor opened up at noon and hopped in line and
everything was already gone.
Yeah.
Everything was already gone for the day. Like we had to come back like the middle of the next day.
Yeah, I remember.
That was our appointment and it was like right when the floor opened. So definitely get on that. And Bandai Namco, like in previous years, hasn't been nearly as like in high demand, but their presentations have just been so good that and their game lineup has been so good, and that it's just become like, and it's not even on the main floor either. There's like a meeting hallway like with like companies and stuff like that, like several hallways like that, and you got to find the right hallway and stuff. It's crazy. It's definitely, it does not feel like a normal regular fan convention. Like you can go there as a fan.
Yeah, no, it's not. Also, there's the fact that several companies have pulled out of E3 in previous years, and like, oh, we're gonna do our own convention thing, Bob.
Who pulled out? Was it like Activision?
Activision and EA.
Yeah.
And all I have to say, honestly, nobody gives a shit about EA. So I mean, Activision, me. I mean, I've played some of their stuff, but it's not like. It's not a company that I'm like, oh my god, Activision's not part of E3, no! Like,
Activision didn't renew their Turtles license for games, so like that's pretty much. And then EA, like I'm not really like a sports game person.
Yeah.
Like I haven't played. Like I think like Burnout was like the last like really big EA title I was into, and that's not even really like your traditional sports title. Like it's way more arcade-ish. Like that's like more my jam. So, and then like, Nintendo, like they had just, Zelda last year.
Yeah, that was pretty much
like,
it. I mean, behind where the Zelda was. I mean, they had a couple of little sprinkling of here and there of smaller things, but it was Zelda.
Yeah, it was pretty much Zelda, like their entire floor, which you had to wait like 4 hours to get into. It was pretty much just Zelda last year, and like Nintendo has done stuff like they didn't reveal the Switch at E3. Obviously, they probably could have, but they didn't. They waited until like another time, and there's more companies now that are waiting until a different time to reveal like a big thing. So that's we're gonna see kind of how it goes. I'm still like we're waiting on our confirmation to go to E3 this year. We've gone for the past several years. And it'll be interesting to see how it's going to change with just letting general public in to just do fan stuff. And, you know, the feeling of it being probably more like a regular convention where you have like this mixture of like fans and cosplay and then like people in their like, you know, they're like khaki shorts and like polo shirts, like running around trying to do business and squeeze through these fans and stuff like that.
I personally am not looking forward to it. There's a chance, like you said, we're still waiting on confirmation. I feel like there's a chance that we're going to be told, sorry, just buy passes, which
right,
obviously,
we're not big.
Yeah, we're not big. I see that being a problem with anybody who is not, you know, big time to begin with. Anybody who has a small channel and is trying to make headway in E3 being something that's kind of a big deal for them every year. I feel like people like ourselves are going to be squashed and be told just buy passes for the sake of getting people to buy passes, which, as far as I'm aware, all the passes have been bought. They are sold out.
Yeah, the early bird passes for $150 have been sold out, but the 250 normal passes have not been sold out.
Oh, okay. Then I didn't get all that information whenever I was reading that then.
So,
I personally am not looking forward to it. It is a lot of fun. We do have a lot of fun, but during the day, it's business, and numbers. That's what it is. So,
it is a lot of work. It's fun being there. It's a good job to kind of give yourself if you're going there as like us, like a channel, you know, trying to like, you know, get some cool content and everything like that. Maybe not so much for the people who, you know, work for, you know, a games publisher who have to who, you know, they're like, oh crap, I'm being sent to E3 again. This is going to be a really stressful 3 days.
They have to be, you know, they have to get the booth set up, and then they have to be on the floor at 7 a.m.
and stay there.
And be the last person out.
And then still go to these after parties for like network meetings.
To make up for the entirety of the day and
sleep
do it all
for
over
like
again.
3 hours.
Maybe.
Yeah, like we don't even live that far from E3. Like we are in Orange County. It's like an hour drive on the highway north to get to the LA Convention Center. And still, last year we were like, you know what? Screw that. We're getting a hotel room. And
it was
we're
the
actually
best
staying
decision.
in LA.
Best decision.
And like it made things so much easier. We got so much better sleep because of it and everything. It was really nice spending a few days in LA like that. And still like it was still like a lot of work and planning and getting up early and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we're there because we choose to be there. Like we're not even like assigned by some corporate guy to be like, hey, go there and stand there all day. Like we get to make our own itinerary and it's still work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said this in my battle blog before, I recommend going to E3 if you're going to get something out of it. Like if you're a blogger, you can blog about E3. Especially if you're a YouTube channel, you know, get footage for your YouTube channel. And especially if you want to, you know, talk to developers for interviews, you know, get something out of it. You know, just don't go to play games because you can play games anywhere. You can just wait to play games. In all honesty, like go there to, you know, like get content about games, you know, like learn more about games, you know, make business deals. It's more of a, well, like I said, it's more of a trade show than a convention, you know, so go there more for business purposes rather than, you know, just going there to play games.
That's an expensive price to pay just to go stand in line and play a few games, honestly.
Yeah, well, you know, like, I feel like, you know, for people, like, when we went there the first time, we had no idea what we were doing. Yeah. And we just kind of wung it and wung. Is that really like past tense? Winged? Wung? I don't know. We just went there and we're just like, we're going to wing it. And we did so. And we still had a whole lot of fun. And we were super pumped just because, oh my God, we're at E3. And I feel like that's what first time public people
Yeah.
are going to get out of it.
Oh yes, and please go there and please meet people because you might end up getting invited to an awesome party. Like remember the first year we got invited, like by Square Enix?
Yeah, we got invited by Square Enix to a thing, like the. I think last year was the only year where we really didn't do any real major parties. Like we stood in line and got into a couple, and they weren't really.
Last year was kind of weird.
It was like.
Well, we went to the Twitch party.
We did, and
we
like
weren't there very long.
Yeah, it was. I think we ditched most of the parties to go to 82.
Oh yeah,
the barcade, not far from Little Tokyo.
Well, also you got to remember that we were drinking well before well before the parties even started. Because you'd stand in line, you get in line at like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you wouldn't even get in until 11:30, midnight maybe. Whereas we started drinking at like fucking 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So
like we got all of our work done like right away.
Yeah. And just got fucking shit-faced.
Which I think we would have stayed on the floor longer, except for the fact that there was just so much congestion because of the way they set up.
Yeah, that's another thing is that, with the way the congestion is, that the first day especially is the crowdest. And then, it's a little thinned out on the second day. The third day is usually the best. You can actually walk around with your arms spread out and not touch anybody.
Right.
It's interesting to see how it's going to affect the capacity for each day, because now we have public passes. Are people who have public passes, are they going to be there all 3 days?
That's true. And I think maybe, I wonder, because you were talking about the thing about like people, like how they like, we're still waiting on getting confirmation. And, they might, for like smaller people, just be like bumping us out. Like maybe, like these 15,000 people they're letting in, maybe they're all like, these 15,000 people that really aren't a big deal, we're not going to let them in just based on their credentials anymore. And then that's how they made space for those 15,000 fans to pay for it.
You know what? That's absolutely a possibility. They could have even just made it, what would it be? 7,500, even just half those passes being people like us getting bumped to make us buy passes, and the other half actually being people who are just the public.
That's and that may be totally how it is. And you know what? That's okay. Like I'm still, if we go, cool. If we don't, cool. Like
I'm not gonna cry if we don't. Honestly,
I'm still. I'm actually more excited for Anime Expo in July than I am E3 this year. I think partially because our bestest friend ever, Jake, doesn't work for PDP anymore.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
And that's so like we won't be able to see him and everything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We've talked plenty about E3 and our thoughts about it and how and why we're not such huge fans of it being open to the public, and for fans going like what to prepare for, and get into this Castlevania Netflix series that's coming this year. Now I haven't read anything about this, but Ryan, you have, and I'm really skeptical because I remember the last time a video game said it was getting a Netflix series, everyone lost their minds, and then it turned out not to be true only months later. So tell me about this Castlevania Netflix series. What's confirmed about it? What's really true? Who's behind it? Is it going to be gory and awesome? Is it going to be 8-bit? Like what's going on with this?
So from what I heard, yes, it's confirmed that it is coming out this year. We don't know who's behind it, but from what I heard, though, it's going to be a rated R series. So we're probably going to see Simon Belmont whipping, skeletons and werewolves with fucking blood splattering all over the place.
So this is just like some hardcore, like, German dungeon porn? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, maybe we'll see Dracula biting some girl with large tits.
Yeah, biting.
Yep.
That I don't know. It sounds like a very like horror-themed Game of Thrones. Sounds like the way you're talking about it.
Now, Ryan, you said that you weren't sure who was going to be behind it. But this article is saying that it's the Adventure Time team, apparently.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Adventure Time production company, Frederator Networks, and producer Audie Shankar. I'm sorry if I'm totally butchering your name, dude. So that's who's apparently behind it. There was actually an interview done last year, and it was, let's see, so the Frederator owner ended up making a comment during, I think it looks like during a podcast. They ended up saying that, talking about this new project that was based on, quote, one of the most world famous video games of the last 30 years. They weren't able to mention it at the time, and now it's been noted by the producer that they are working on a Castlevania miniseries, and apparently it's going to be super violent. Which, it's if it's American, I want to say no shit.
So it says, and this is on Destructoid. It's saying it's going to be dark, satirical, and after a decade of propaganda, it will flip the vampire subgenre on its head. I don't know, I'm not a Castlevania fan. I don't dislike it, but I don't go out of my way to play it. Obviously, as you could see when we did play it that one time on our Let's Play show. But I think the dark, but also satirical, that, it sounds kind of Army of Darkness almost. And, I really enjoy.
This is my boomstick.
I really enjoy horror comedy, Army of Darkness and Zombieland and stuff like that. So if that's
Idle Hands.
Yes, Idle Hands. And if that's what they're going for, dark and violent but funny, in its own way, or so serious that you can't take it seriously, that would be really cool. It kind of, I'm kind of getting a vibe of old black and white Ninja Turtles comics. Super violent, super serious, super gritty, but it's turtles, being ninjas, and that's goofy in and of itself, and satirical. And it was a big satire of Marvel Comics popularity stuff, teenagers, mutants, ninjas, at the time. And I'm just kind of getting that vibe from this description, and hopefully that's what we're getting out of it, because every time, a cool Netflix miniseries comes out, we're pretty much on top of it. Stranger Things, Daredevil.
Hell yeah.
We've been watching kind of slowly, F is for Family, that sort of thing.
I didn't really like what I watched of it.
I mean,
so that's all you.
I don't binge it, but I like it,
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty cool if Bruce Campbell played Simon Belmont.
Oh my god, that would be the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, he whips a skeleton and he goes, groovy.
I mean, he has been doing Ash versus the Evil Dead, that new series, which for whatever ungodly reason I have not looked into, which is odd and terrifying in and of itself, because I'm such a huge Bruce Campbell fan.
You're such a huge Bruce Campbell fan, but you're also such a huge let's watch Travel Network, let's watch Investigation Discovery, and Ash will not be fighting the Evil Dead.
That's just on while I do other things.
Ash vs. Evil Dead is not on either of those networks. It's not going to be and in this tiny house, we have some ghouls. Oh, and here's a one-armed man with a shotgun.
Yeah, anyway.
I thought that was funny. Mm-hmm. You gave me that look.
That
look.
Fuck you.
Yeah, you're just kind of stop making jokes about the jokey thing.
Stop making jokes about the jokey thing.
Right. So Castlevania Netflix series coming this year, 2017, will be rated R.
Yeah, I might check it out.
For pirates.
Hey, if there's wall meat, I'm in it.
So, anyway, moving on to our final news topic of this podcast, the Switch internal memory. Everyone knows who's been following Switch stuff that it is not going to be that big of an internal memory. 32 gigs? Is not going to be big enough for a certain digital game. Now, videogamer.com has named this title, and Ryan, what is it?
Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. It takes up 32 gigs out of the 29 you have available.
Yeah, 29.4 or something like that.
Because, system crap.
Well, yeah.
So, you'll have to buy a memory card in order to be able to buy that game digitally. Now, I'm assuming there's a physical release for it.
There is.
Yeah, there has to be.
Okay, because I mean, it's
there is.
Quest,
If you get the physical release, obviously, how much storage it takes up is not going to be a problem because you have the physical disc itself.
Right. So, I mean, unless you have to install the entire game. There are some games that are like that, You have the disc, but you still have to install the entire game. And then when you try and play the game, you're like, put the disc in to play the game. So...
let's see.
Yeah, so, 32 gigabyte download size for Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. Now, to compare that, Videogamer.com has a list. Let's see, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 13.4 gigabytes digitally.
I'm surprised by that.
That it's that
small compared to Dragon Quest. I know there's a lot of shit going on in Dragon Quest, but with how expansive and huge and crazy that they've made Zelda out to be, and that it only takes up 13.4, and it compared to 32, I just damn.
Yeah,
well, this is Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. So
fair enough. That's a good point.
It's kind of a 2-pack right there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So each individual game is probably half that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 7 gigabytes. Snipper clips, cut it out together, 1.6 gigs. Disgaea 5 is almost 6 gigs. Yeah, so these games really aren't that big. Most of these games aren't that big. Nobunaga's Ambition is only like 5. But then you have Zelda at 13, which shows that its size, and then Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 taking up more than what's available on the Switch out of the box. We already bought a micro SD card a while back.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's sitting on top of the computer tower right next to the TV, still in its packaging, ready for when we get the Switch, because I know that if we start downloading titles, if they're not just virtual console titles, that like take up like almost no space at all, but we're gonna eat up space really quickly on that thing. I mean, we have a 500 gigabyte PS4, and we have to like manage our downloads in our library and stuff like that to make sure like we don't just completely eat up the space on our PlayStation. So anybody who's a Dragon Quest fan and is getting a Switch, be sure to have already gotten your micro SD card ready. You can find sources online to tell you what sort of cards it takes and in terms of size and capacity and whatnot. And hopefully you can find a really good deal on Amazon or something like that. Ryan, I know you're probably going to try and go for a midnight launch for the Switch.
Yeah.
Have you already gotten a micro SD card ready for that? Like one you have at home, or are you going to buy one?
No, not yet, actually. Well, because I'm getting the cartridge version of Zelda.
Okay.
So
well, I mean, they might have those if there's a midnight launch wherever you go pick it up. But,
yeah, I might just pick up a spare SD card then.
They'll probably, like, if it's like Best Buy or something like that, they might have like accessories sitting around and be like, hey, do you want one of these? Do you want one of these? So you might be able to pick one up right there. We got ours picked up already. We got it from Amazon. We have the Switch and Zelda coming from Amazon, and so not a midnight launch, but we don't have to go anywhere to get ours. So
yay!
We get to be lazy. So
and hopefully they get delivered to our house and not our neighbors.
Oh shit! If your neighbors got it, hey look, we got a free Switch.
I'll be like,
no, that wouldn't be a problem. Our neighbors are pretty nice.
My Nartbort game, it got delivered to the downstairs neighbor, and like one of the people who lives there just kind of picked it up and threw it on the table where the mail is, and the other one was going through the mail and was all like, "Oh, hey, this isn't mine." Brought it upstairs, so
that's nice of them.
So yeah, they're cool. And then the guy who lives, well, there is nobody. The place right next to us, like that one's, there's
been empty
there.
for months.
Yeah, so I think we're good to go there. I think I'll be like getting up that day and just like standing outside the whole time waiting for Amazon to show up.
Just waiting for someone to show up.
I'll just like you'll
see somebody and flag them down, like, hey, over here.
I'll have my phone and my tablet and like my 3DS,
and you're holding all of them while you're standing outside looking at them.
My Vita and like my Game Boy Advance SP. So I have like battery life for all of those things, and just like sit outside, with like a bucket of food.
A bucket of food.
A bucket of food. I don't know, like a giant gallon bucket of yogurt and oatmeal and fruit and just sit there and just eat and play games and do stuff on the internet and wait for the Amazon guy to show up.
Is that stuff still healthy if you eat an entire 5-gallon bucket in one sitting?
My LDL would be like -10. That was such an old person thing to say.
That was good job, honey.
I'm trying.
The fact that Ryan and I laughed at it, though,
yeah,
was kind of an old person thing to do.
I just learned what LDL was like the other day. So
I'm not even 30, and I already knew.
Well, I have high cholesterol, so I've known what LDL was my entire life.
You know like anatomy and crap like that though, and biology and stuff.
Yeah, but LDL, it's kind of, that's not something you would know for anatomy.
I mean, I know anatomy in the sense of just kind of like carbs go in, energy come out, or fat if not used. Also, arm does not bend this way.
Okay.
You know? So, good for jujitsu. Sweet arm bar. Ugh. So, anyway, that is everything we've got to talk about this week. We have some other shows if you want to keep up with Battle Geek Plus in the meantime, and we have a streaming channel. Ryan, what are our other shows, and where can people watch them?
Yeah, so our other shows are Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about our memories of video games and we review them. And also, you can catch Awesome Video Game Memories every Sunday for classic games. And starting in March, we'll be doing Zelda Month.
Zelda Month. That's the awesome video game memories of a bunch of Zelda titles.
Yep.
And I've had a lot of fun filming those so far. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching them. And do we have any other shows that are ongoing right now?
Let's see, we have Battle Geek Plus Arcade Edition, where we go to actual arcades and play actual arcade games, because arcades have been out of the spotlight for many, many years. So it's kind of like going back to the past.
Rad. And where can you watch these shows?
You can go to youtube.com/BattleGeekPlus, or just go to BattleGeekPlus.com, or go to ChannelAwesome.com.
And that's fantastic. You can also follow us on Twitter at BattleGeekPlus. And Ryan, you tend to do a lot of streaming for our channel. Where do you stream at?
I stream at twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus, and right now I am playing some random old school games. Just recently I streamed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade on the PlayStation 2 TMNT 2 Battle Nexus version, which has completely different music, which sounds very horrible.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I actually just kind of turned down the TV after a while when I had that game, because when I unlocked that and I played it with Frank way back in the day, that game, it wasn't the fact that the music was different, it was the fact that they had one song that just played the whole way
Well, no,
through.
I counted 2 songs.
2 songs, okay.
Yeah, so going to the Technodrome was very awkward.
2 songs compared to the other ones. There was a different song for each stage, and the boss music was the same every time you hit a boss, but and the music was all based around the classic Turtles music, which was the reason why they couldn't use it, because they couldn't get the rights at the time.
Yeah, the thing is, though, I never unlocked the classic arcade game in Battle Nexus 2 because I thought the game was a piece of shit, and I only got to the 4th level. I was and I heard you had to unlock it at the 9th level. I was fuck this.
Oh, no, I got it because I knew that game was going to be on there, and so I looked in a guide how to get that game, and I played it far enough to get the game, and then I had it just so I had a disc version of the arcade game to play that wasn't emulation or whatever.
Yeah, so what I did was I downloaded a game save off GameFAQs, so I unlocked it by default. I loaded it on my memory card, so for the first time in I think 12 years, I finally got to play Battle Nexus 2 again, and I was well, fuck, this game still is a piece of shit, and the arcade version is even more of a piece of shit, because I've never heard the alternate music.
Yeah, the alternate music is bad. But anyway, I think we were trying to get out of here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so
yeah, come on, boys.
TV,
I got shit to edit.
Twitch.tv/BattleGeekPlus. You can watch Ryan play games, sometimes Heather play games, and I get auto-hosted on there a lot from my personal channel, twitch.tv/Kendamu. And is there anything else going on besides this podcast? Anything coming up? Anything besides Zelda Month?
Let's see. I can't give away anything, but we do have a very big project with a certain somebody that I'm not going to mention yet, so stay tuned for that.
Fantastic. We're going to get out of here. My name is Josh. This has been Waxing Pixels, the video game podcast from Battle Geek Plus. Everyone say bye, Heather.
Bye.
Later. Frank?
Frank?
Frank! Dun 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 dun.